Hello, everyone. My name is Jerry Perry, and today I will be talking about flood hazard in Prince George's County. And the purpose of this story map is to essentially highlight flood hazards that have threatened Prince George's County. So we'll start off by talking about where Prince George's County is located. Maryland is located in the eastern region of the United States, while Prince George's County is situated along Maryland's western shore. This county borders two rivers, which is the Potomac in the west, right around here, and then the Patuxent in the east along this border. They both flow into the Chesapeake Bay, and Maryland has a diverse landscape with rich forestry, marshlands, and valleys. And the county is situated mainly within the Atlantic coastal plain. I chose this study area because it is my hometown and I have a personal connection to this area. And from a resident's perspective, it is a good source of information for those who are in emergency planning or just public residents who want to know about the area. Prince George's County is known as Black Mecca because it was once referred to as the richest black county in the United States. However, there has been a migration to its neighbor, Charles County, and so they have stolen the title. Prince George's County is home to many different landmarks, but some that I like to highlight is Andrews Air Force Base, the University of Maryland, and NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. So I've included some pictures here, just to give you an idea. And the top 5 hazards in Prince George's County include earthquakes, though they aren't that common, excessive heat, which we've been dealing with recently, flooding, and hurricanes. So I now want to take you all on a closer look at the hazards that are within Prince George's County. So in this app that I've created, you can essentially click into the menu to just get some information. So in my first map, where we look at the demographics for the area, in this you can use the legend, just explore. You can click into different features and you'll get a pop-up that will give you more information. So Prince George's County has a population of around 981,000 people and is the second most populous county in Maryland. And this map shows flood hazard in Prince George's County. When you go into this app, you can use the zoom button to explore and move along the map to observe any cities. To the left, I've added a map legend widget, which lets you look at the different features and just get an idea of what we're looking at here. So some of the hazards include road closures, road blockages, if there's a storm or tornado or severe weather, or even air activity. If you click this map layers widget, you can turn off some layers. So let's turn off the flood hazard layer, and then you can zoom in to take a closer look at potential road closures. It will tell you what direction the road closures are in and things of that nature. You can even go in here and turn this off or back on. I believe this is the road closures layer, so we can turn that off and you can see the items filter out from the map. So let's turn back on flood hazard, and then we're going to go to analysis. You can use different analysis tools, just if you want to clip features to observe anything specific. I've included an attribute table which can allow you to look at just the different data in the map. So now let's go over to active hurricanes, typhoons, and cyclones. So If we would have looked at this map around 2 or 3 days ago, we would have seen a path for Hurricane Debbie coming right along this area. But right now, the map shows that there isn't any active threat of hurricanes. Earlier in this week, you could see Debbie's path moving along. Luckily, Prince George's County didn't get hit that bad, but you would have been able to see it on this map, as this map updates regularly. So I would say give it a chance to look at this map in the next hurricane event that is warned for Prince George's County. In the legend, we can see just different features. It can show hurricane force and the boundary lines and things of that nature. So let's go over to storm reports. So storm reports, let's see if we have any. So we don't have any actively in this county as well as the last map, but if you go over here, you can get an idea of what it would look like if we had any active severe weather going on. When you zoom out, you can even observe other states within the US that are experiencing hazards. So I'm just going to zoom back in. And just to give you a quick glance of the legend. Okay. So that's it for this experience builder. I'll set it back to the introduction. So just for a bit of detail, you can click an action in this story map to observe specific features from earlier. So for flood hazard, if we click it, it will appear on the map and we can just zoom in and play around with that. I've also included the map to show evacuation zone areas based on hurricane threat. So let's click into it and see what our pop-up says. Okay, so this is zone 1B, which is represented by yellow, and this is zone 2, represented by red. Sorry, zone A. Let's click emergency operations centers to see where those are located. So right now there's only 2 located in Prince George's County, Maryland, in the northern region. And for FEMA shelter locations, we have them all throughout the county. So let's move on. So this is just some quick information for the data sources. Everything was mostly gathered through Esri ArcGIS online using layers that were provided on there. In our map, we have National Shelter System facilities from FEMA, local emergency operations centers from California's Office of Emergency Services and evacuation zones, along with USA flood hazards. In our shelter system facilities map, this contains facility locations that houses those in need during the event of an emergency. There are 33 shelters currently located in Prince George's County. In our local emergency operations centers, we can look at the locations at which the coordination of information to support domestic incidents and basically the management activities, this is where they normally would take place. There are only 2 located on this map, and you can use this action to just click and it will zoom in for you if you would like to see specifically where they're located. To move on, these are our evacuation zones, which represent varying levels of threat from flooding resulting from storm surge. And we're back again to our flood hazards, and flood hazards are very important to basically bring awareness to those in this community. This data was aggregated into 8 classes produced by Esri and produced by the Esri symbology field from FEMA. And all of the layers in this attribute are derived from the National Flood Hazard layer. So for this section, we are going to take a closer look at 3D flood hazard. It looks like it is not loading, so what I'll do is that I'll include a link in the discussion if you would like to take a look into this. It's essentially the flood hazard layer in a 3D scene where you can explore and just move around and just see those features a little bit closer. So, the impacts of flooding in Prince George's County. Essentially, from flooding in Prince George's County, we have infrastructure damage, displaced housing, those displaced from their housing, health and serious conditions such as injury or death, and economic strain. So, for example, Hurricane Isabel. Hurricane Isabel made landfall in eastern North Carolina around midday on Thursday, on September 18th in 2003. And this hurricane was a Category 2, and it was one of the most significant tropical cyclones to affect the Northeast, East Central Virginia, the Chesapeake region, which is around the Prince George's County region. And this was since 1954. So this was a historical hurricane, and it pushed storm surge up in the area and caused statewide damage. Some of the damages included increasing rains, wind, flooded streets and housing, wind gusts ranging from 48 to 78 miles per hour, and nearly 700 trees were down and destroyed in the DC area. And due to this, most of the power was out in the region for many days and caused more than 2 million customers to be without electricity in Prince George's County. So, I have also included just a quick little YouTube video just to show you how this hurricane impacted the area and what residents are still dealing with today. So just give that a look when you go into the story map. And the importance of flood hazard mapping. So flood maps help emergency managers indicate the probability of flooding in the county, and this can be done using historical or even recent data to observe possible patterns and trends. And the ways that we can mitigate the effects of flooding and hurricane damage is essentially having preparation, updated drainage systems, and just building structures that can be resilient to these kinds of events, and just even improving the planning process. So just incorporating mitigation in those plans. What are we doing for land use and zoning and development, and how can these infrastructures be protected? And also getting your community and your state agencies involved in those planning efforts can help with funding and practices along with coordination. So that is the end of my story map. I've included my sources here, and thank you so much.